This is Funny Games. Directed by This is Funny Games. Directed by Mike. This is Funny Games. Directed by Mike. This is Funny Games. Directed by Michael. This is Funny Games. Directed by this is this 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 is this 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 is fun. This is Funny Games. Directed by Michael Haneke in 1997. And this is also Funny Games. Directed by Michael Haneke in 2007. Same title, same director,
he needed
same story, same
10 years
shots.
later, he wanted to do it better.
Practically the same film. So why make it again? Remakes have a bad rep, and mostly for good reason. They can feel lazy.
I'm gonna be honest, I never watched
uninspired,
any of those
and
like
they're usually
real versions
orchestrated
of the
out
animated
studio's
films. I never
desire to grab
fuck
some
with that.
left-behind cash
Like,
by
no.
milking an old
You're
idea
not
for
gonna
new
do it
audiences
the way
or
it was.
nostalgia
You're not gonna
baiting
give it
that
the feeling
same
that it gave,
old
bro.
crowd back.
You can make a great. You made the greatest
You'll die in 7 days.
like
But what
artificial
if a
film.
director
That's
remakes
outstanding.
their own movie?
And do that for
Not
sure.
30
I'd
years
watch
later,
that.
and not
Don't
for
copy a
special
cartoon,
anniversary,
come
but
on.
out of their
Not
own
cartoon,
creative
animation.
ambitions. And what if they do it shot for shot, beat for beat, line for line? What if it's deliberate? Michael Haneke didn't just revisit his 1997 Austrian psychological horror film Funny Games, he cloned it.
Leave him alone.
It's a cinematic double, an English language doppelganger, and it's not a studio cash-in. In fact, it might be the exact opposite. There are plenty of other foreign films redone
shit.
for American audiences, but they're almost never made by the same director. And there's always something lost
got the
in
visuals
translation.
in the
Take,
vid,
for
huh?
example, Ruben Östlund's Force Majeure, which was later remade into the US film Downhill, starring Will Ferrell and Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Force Majeure is a razor-sharp, darkly funny dissection of masculinity, cowardice, and the fragile ego. Then comes Downhill. Its American cousin is confused whether it wants to be a drama or a comedy, and ends up watering down the themes and ideas that Force Majeure tackles head-on.
Det är såna jäkla krafter.
Är det safe?
Ja, de vet vad de gör.
God damn.
Harry, det är lugnt, det är lugnt.
It's okay. I'm not gonna lie. You gotta be dumb as shit.
Is that okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
The first one was better.
Both of these films orbit the same central premise. A husband bolts at first sight of danger, leaving his family behind. But where Force Majeure drills mercilessly into that moment like it's performing emotional surgery, Downhill only manages to skim the surface layer. A redundant piece of entertainment manufactured for American audiences. It's nothing new. But sometimes directors do get their do-overs. It isn't very common, but it has happened on occasion where directors remake one of their own films later down the line. Take Kiyoshi Kurosawa, for example. One of the 3 films he made in 2024, which I talk about here, is Serpent's Path. It's actually a French remake of the original film that he directed 25 years prior in Tokyo. The original follows Miyashita, a former Yakuza, and Nijima, a school teacher, as they kidnap and interrogate individuals on a quest to avenge Miyashita's murdered daughter. Set against the backdrop of Tokyo suburbs, the film delves into themes of grief, revenge. In contrast, the 2024 remake relocates the narrative to Paris, introducing Albert Bachelet and Sayoko Nijima. This shift not only changes the setting, but it also adds layers of cross-cultural dynamics and different gendered perspectives, with Sayoko taking on a more central role. Both films maintain the core premise of a father's relentless pursuit of justice, but offer distinct explorations influenced by their unique setting and character dynamics. The remake doesn't become redundant by distinguishing itself enough while still maintaining the same central themes and ideas. This is how a director might remake themselves while still offering up something of value to the audience. But Michael Haneke's American version isn't like either of those two examples. While he isn't crudely taking his European vision and pandering it to American audiences by making a dumbed-down version a la Downhill to Force Majeure, he also isn't remixing himself to a degree that meaningfully separates each version of the film into their own distinct visions, like Kurosawa did with Serpent's Path. So the question becomes, why? Why would a director with such a distinct voice, someone who thrives on discomfort, dissonance, and disobedience, make the exact same film again? And if he did it on purpose, which we know he did, Does that mean we, the audience, are once again
I still haven't
falling
gotten
into
any
his trap?
context on what
Because
this type
unlike
of film
most
is or what
directors,
it has to
Haneke
do
isn't
with-
trying to entertain you.
Like,
He's
not trying to
make
hate, not
you
trying to hate.
comfortable. In fact, it's the
Very
exact
entertained as-
opposite. He's
as
trying to
of this
confront you,
point, but-
unnerve you, punish you. And what
Like,
better
I don't
way
know
to do
why.
that
I don't know, like-
than to trap you in the exact same horror twice. On the surface, Funny Games is a home invasion movie. A wealthy family, a mother, father, and son, head to their summer home for a relaxing vacation. But things take a turn when two polite young men in tennis whites arrive asking to borrow some eggs.
I'm really sorry.
What follows is a slow, methodical descent into violence. No music cues, no jump scares, no stylish edits. Just two sadists dismantling this family's world in real time, while the camera refuses to look away. Haneke makes you sit in it. He dares you to feel the discomfort. There's a moment, if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about, where the mom actually gets the upper hand for a second. She grabs a shotgun and shoots one of them. You feel it.
Fuck.
You're like, yes, a flicker of hope. That final catharsis that most horror films are built around. And then the surviving killer grabs a remote control, rewinds the movie, and erases the win.
Oh, damn.
Literally, just like that, it's gone. This isn't a twist.
Oh, what type of movie
There
is
had
this?
already
This
been
shit kinda
established
sick.
fourth wall breaks before. This is just Haneke putting his hands on the projector and saying, no, you don't get that. You don't deserve that. The film teases you with what you desire most, and that isn't the only time it does it.
Hey, that was the test run. Now we're gonna go for the Olympic gold.
Haneke is using the conventions of American horror and thriller cinema that we know so well as weapons against us. He isn't simply trying to subvert our expectations like so many other less original
Spoilers for
directors
Scream
do by
4
pulling
and
out a
5.
twist that ultimately falls in line with whatever
right now.
conventions we're actually used to seeing.
Welcome to Act 3.
No. Instead, he's
Oh,
actively
you just spoiled the whole
criticizing
thing.
our
She's the killer.
expectations, our media, and the way that
What
we
the fuck was I
crave
talking
it.
about?
He lures us in with the tantalizing.
You think somebody watched
concept
the
of a
movie
home
in
invasion
its
thriller,
original
and then
language,
confronts
like,
us
back
with
in
our
the day, and was
expectations
like,
of
man,
that kind
if
of
you
cinema.
did that,
Why
it'd
do
be
we
the
want to
perfect
see these
American
horrible acts of
It's
violence
so
in our
crazy
movies?
today. And he was like,
How
you know what?
awful
I'll
would
do
a
it again.
home invasion actually be? Haneke isn't shy about this critique of our media. The television is always there, on in the background, flickering, reflecting us back at ourselves. He's not just
What type of
criticizing
speaker is
violent
this?
media, he's indicting the viewer's
Damn.
relationship to media.
Shit kinda
Two
like him.
stories where violence is
Hold on, bro.
entertainment.
I'm gonna take a
where
photo of
pain
that.
becomes spectacle. You don't get satisfying revenge. You don't get escape. You don't even get a real ending. Just more suffering, more silence, more polite cruelty as the boys move on to their next victim. One of my friends said it best when he mentioned that there's a point in the movie where the audience just checks out. And I think that the film knows it. At that point, the characters just talk directly to the camera. We know that nothing good is gonna happen. And all we're left to do is sit and bask in this totally unnerving feeling that Haneke pulls off so well.
We were discussing the difference between communicating between the material universe and the anti-material universe, right?
Exactly.
And I just want to reiterate that when I say shot for shot, I'm not exaggerating. I'm not using this as shorthand for mostly similar, vaguely reminiscent. The 2007 version of
I
Funny
like the
Games is
left
practically
side
a
better.
cell-for-cell clone of the 1997 version. The camera movements, identical. The lighting, almost indistinguishable. If it weren't for the fact that Naomi Watts and Tim Roth are in one version and a pair of Austrian actors are in the other, it'd be pretty easy to mistakenly think that you're watching a 4K remaster, not a remake. Besides the occasional shift in the rhythm because of a performance not being perfectly synced, it's disturbingly close. No updated technology, no altered context to match the post 9/11 era America, no American specific flavor injected. It's not trying to be more Hollywood. It's not remade for today's audiences.
It's a remake.
And what's funny is that in Haneke's attempt to expose the audience, in a way he's kind of giving us exactly what they want. It's just not in the right packaging. Like a scolding parent making a child smoke an entire cigarette after catching them trying to take a puff. He's lecturing us on the inhuman desire to see violence represented on screen. But if Haneke was able to make those points with his original film in 1997, why go through the trouble of making it all over again? In English, with American stars. Why do it the exact same way, with no updates, no rewrites, and no major differences? Well, the man has answered that himself.
fucking lost
The
my
first
bliss
version
text
of
for like the
film,
5th time this
unfortunately,
year.
didn't get seen by its intended
actually
audience
sick.
because it was in German. So I thought this would be a good opportunity for it to reach the audience it was originally made for. That is the only reason. And how did we feel when faced with this opportunity to confront our own desires and relationships with the media? Let's just say not everyone was on board. I wonder if this was the exact outcome that Haneke had wanted from his film. Oh, you didn't like watching two psychopaths torment a polite bourgeois family in real time? Good. You weren't entertained? Excellent. That was the point. Because Funny Games was never supposed to be a horror movie you enjoy. It was never for you. It was a lecture, a dare, a mirror. He wanted to confront viewers with their own hunger for violence, and then deny them any satisfaction. Every time you lean forward, thinking maybe the family might fight back, maybe they'll escape, the film punishes you for hoping. And in that context, the remake makes perfect sense. Because what could be more devastatingly ironic than making people sit through the same lecture twice and still not get the message? Haneke remakes Funny Games not to expand it, but to amplify it. He's pointing a finger, and with the remake, that finger is just closer to your face. You wanted violence? You got it. But you don't get to win. You don't get catharsis. You get silence, repetition, a loop of suffering. And if you come back for seconds, well, that's on you. My friend said something that stuck with me when we first watched.
I feel like
the
you're gonna
American
fuck with this
version.
movie. You're gonna
Doesn't
watch it. You
just
gotta watch the second
make
one.
sense that Haneke would remake this film, given the content? And I think his inclination was correct. Haneke says that the one and only reason was to get the intended audience to see it. And I don't doubt that that was his intention with the remake, but I think the reflexive fact of the remake existing adds a layer of palpability to the thesis of both films.
Benutzt halt das Genre
But it
des
wasn't-
Thrillers oder wie man das nennen will,
Was it?
über die Manipulation durch das Medium per se zu reflektieren.
The film is already referential of itself as a movie, so it isn't much of a stretch to say that the dual entity of this film, the fact that two carbon copies exist, is a simple commentary on the incessant satiation of obscene violence in the media. He's proven his point that this type of media is repeatedly obsessed over, fantasized, and consumed. Only in our world full of pornographic violence would a film so disturbing and obscene be remade. And I think that's the point. Only in our world. Haneke tries to shock us out of it, to turn it off, to criticize us. But he did author the same film twice. His culpability in this situation isn't exactly clean either.
I haven't watched
And
the
if you
film.
watched both
I think
versions,
based off
congrats.
what he's saying though
You
right
took
now, I
his
think he's going
test
too
and
deep
you
into
failed it, like
think.
I have. So let's take stock. Michael Haneke made
Just
Funny
a
Games in
sick-ass movie.
1997 to criticize the way we consume violence. Then again in 2007,
Did he state
not to
that, though?
improve on it, but to make sure
Or you
the
just
right people
inferring
were
that?
watching. We saw how thoroughly the two films mirror each other, a carbon copy with an American passport. But it's not redundant. We heard Haneke explain his
I gotta
intent.
get better sleep, bro. I'm
not
not
to
fucking paying
entertain,
attention,
but
bro.
to
I'm tired
confront,
as
and we
shit.
dove into how the film weaponizes its form. Most remakes try to fix something, update it, make it sleeker, louder, faster, more appealing to modern audiences. But Haneke did no such thing. He remade the exact same movie without changing a thing. Because in his own words, the film is about the representation of violence in the media. Not about violence per se, it is a self-reflexive film after all. In fact, I think it is more relevant than ever because the pornography of violence in media has increased. In a world where most remakes feel like
pornography of
reboots done on
violence?
autopilot, Funny Games
Who's out
is a
here
rare
watching
case
violent
of
porn?
intentional repetition, a loop, a
I'm
warning,
fucking-
middle finger.
That's fuck.
It's not just the same film twice, it's the same experiment twice. Run, this time with a different focus group. The result? They're still watching, still hoping, still caught in the game. And here's the kicker. Whether you watch the original or the remake or both, the result is still the same. You came looking for a movie, and
Ooh, I like
Haneke
the
gave
background
you a
on the
mirror.
left one though. The old.
And now you're
old
stuck
school.
staring into it. I think the intended outcome would actually be for you to turn the movie off before the final minutes. So what makes a remake worthwhile? Maybe it's not how much it changes, but how little it needs to change for it to say something profound.
Damn. Oh, shit, he got more to the vid.
All right, that's a wrap on Funny Games. Secret fourth wall break of... not fourth wall break, because YouTube is inherently a fourth wall break because people talk directly to the fourth wall. But behind the scenes, I'm using my laptop as a teleprompter. It's a game changer. If you
Let me
notice
see,
and
let
it
me
took
see.
you out of it, let me know, and maybe I'll try to think of
What the fuck is a
something else. I was
teleprompter
just
again?
like memorizing things beforehand, and that was
Oh,
really
okay.
hard to
I
do.
see it. I see it. I see it.
Took
I
a
see
lot
it.
longer.
I
Like, this
understand.
video
I thought
only took
teleprompter was like a
24 minutes
projector.
to record.
Teleprompter pops
good.
up the words.
Yeah, funny games, man. I was really pissed off when my friend showed me this video or this movie for the first time.
Are we
It
sitting
was
here
like
having a conversation? What are we doing here?
nothing that I expected before.
We're both talking
Like,
to the
I
camera,
had zero
man.
expectations going into it because he didn't tell us anything, and it like broke my brain.
It pissed you off, the movie?
And the thing that I mentioned in the video, the thing that he said about there comes a point, it's like because they drop the knife in the boat at the very beginning.
So now he's
and then-
spoiling
So
it.
it's always there. It's always in the back of your mind. Maybe they'll get out with the knife. But then the way that they get rid of it is just like so matter of factly, so coolly. Oh, she has the knife? Oh, okay. Throw it away. It's like you really thought that there was a chance they were going to survive. Anyway, as soon as that moment happened, I like totally checked out. And like my friend mentioned, I think the film knows
Yeah, but what
that
if
you
she
checked
just,
out at
when
that
they
point.
threw her in the water, she
Because at that
managed
point,
to
the
Navy
two
SEAL swim
characters
to
just
the
start
knife underwater and
talking
cut
to you
herself out
directly
and
about like
end up killing him after the
random
movie. You really
crap.
don't
I
know.
think they
That
start, like,
could have
reciting,
happened after the
they
fact.
don't start saying poetry.
Movie
do
ended
they?
where it ended, though.
But they just like start, going off, and they know that the audience, like, oh my God, what is her name? Oh my God, like Naomi Watts, the audience, like Naomi Watts, is just sitting there like they're just so done with it. Anyway, next week is gonna be a really fun video on the history of like capital punishment and prisons.
Oh,
and
so
how
he
that
doesn't
cha-
just do movie videos. Alright, well, listen. It was my bad. Because I'm fucking sleep deprived. But that was a good video. I'm gonna sub and give him a like. I should watch some. I should see another one of his videos. If he's doing that.